Good evening, everybody. The excitement is so real today. Oh my God. How are we all doing? I'm feeling very chaotic. How's everybody? Is my camera looking fucking shit today? Why? Why do you do that to me? Let me just... Wait, what have I done? What have I done? Oh no, she is gone. She is back. It's still looking a bit laggy, but we'll live with that. We'll live with that. That's fine. Oh my God. Okay, I need to calm down. My heart rate is just ridiculous right now. My album is officially out. Oh my God. Guys, she's out. She's out. Finally took long enough, didn't it? How's everybody? Ducko Boris, 37. Hello. I know you're so much busier with work these days and stuff like that, and you don't get to be on Twitch much, but it's such a pleasure having you here. Thank you for being here. Ducko, have I said hi already? I have. Hi, guys. Can we start with Pretty Thing? Well, no. We have to do it front to back. Doobie Does, how are you? How's things in your world? Okay. Just checking a couple things. Oh, you didn't. Did you actually? Oh my God, you shouldn't have done that. Oh my God. Oh, well, thank you for being here. Mad. I was late as well. Classic Amel. You should have known, really. But, oh my God. Well, thank you for being here. It means a hell of a lot. Let's party. So, have you guys all listened to the album yet? Or is this, like, new to you guys? Who's listened to it? Who hasn't listened to it yet? Just didn't have any meetings. Moved all your non-existent meetings. You love Pretty Thing. I'm so glad to hear. It's been so fun, like, hearing what people's favorite songs are, because obviously I have my own opinion and stuff like that. But, you know, like, it's been just with my opinion so far, and it's just been so great, like, hearing what everyone else thinks about the record. And I've been a little bit surprised at times with, like, what people's favorite songs have been or not been. I don't know. But interesting. I'm so glad you like it. Twice is a lot. It's great. Thank you so much. Right. So today I'm gonna have some wine first of all because it's just me tonight. Madeleine's with her grandparents, so I get a mum night off for this. And Fabian's at work. Unfortunately, he cannot join us, but that's fine. We'll have fun anyway. So today we're just going to listen to every track, and I'm probably going to feel very awkward every time because I'm just going to be like vibing by myself here. And then, I don't know, I guess we can like, if you guys have questions, please drop them because I want to know what to talk about, I guess, for each song. But like, if you have questions, notes, anything you'd like to discuss, we can have a little bit of a deep dive into each track, a little bit of story time maybe. I don't know. Does that sound good? Does that sound boring? I hope not. So the first track on the record is called All the Stories. Cool. I'll see what I can remember, come up with, think of for each song. So Fuckboy song. Let's start with this one. I've got instrumentals playing in the meantime, but Fuckboy song, track 1. It's funny because when I uploaded that one up on like online services, I was like, it has a swear word in the title, but not actually in the song. Is this a bad idea for metrics or whatever to make it explicit? But I decided to make it explicit even though it doesn't actually have any swearing in. I know I've mentioned a little story of why it's called Fuckboy Song last time, but I can tell it again. But let's have a listen first. I'm going to mute myself. Please let me know that you're hearing things properly. I hope like the quality is better than it has been in the past because I don't know what the fuck's happening with my OBS, but it just feels like it crunches down sound quality. But let me know what it's like for you guys, if you can hear it well. And yeah, let's have our first listen. Well, not necessarily a first listen, but a listen to the first track off the album. This is Fuckboy Song. The last time. Yeah, good point, Daku. Came around. You and I, and too much wine. We may have crossed the line, oh. But I only ever wanted it because I knew I should have. Still into the wind, pretending it never happened. Far too long, go days somewhere along the line. Came undone. How'd you dare look at me with those eyes and smile? We may have lost our minds, oh. But I only ever wanted it because I knew I should have. Still into the wind, pretending it never happened. And that was Fuckboy Song, first track off the album. Thank you, thank you. This is both chilling and banger. Well, with this particular song, I knew from the start, like, so in terms of like the track list order, there was a couple of tweaks that sort of happened throughout the making of the record. But this one, I was like, this has to be the first song. Because first of all, I didn't want to start the album like too intense, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, it is a bit weird. Sometimes I was singing along to it. The other day I was singing along to a song. It's kind of weird, like hearing your voice double up. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard it so many times now. So yeah, this song, that was actually the first song well, this is going to come back a lot, finished. The thing is I finished it and then a year later I was like, nah, something needs changing. But that was the first song I finished in the making of the album. I'm losing my train of thought. Where was I going with it? I've lost it. Damn it. But yeah, I didn't want to start on like something a little bit too I guess, a bit too intense. And I really like just the instrumental quality of this one. It doesn't really have a chorus. Like, it's definitely not a single type song. I can't really play it by myself because I feel like the riff just like gives it everything, right? Art is never finished, only abandoned. I mean, you guys, it's terrible, but I still look back at some details on the album and I'm like, I kind of wish I'd done that slightly differently. But at some point, you've got to say it's finished. You've got to turn that page, you know, because I said that so many times. But yeah, so Fuckboy Song was signed off in sort of late 2019, I want to say. No, probably more like early 2020, actually, before the pandemic hit. I self-produced that one originally completely all by myself. Recorded some drums along with most of the drums on the record, like right at the start of the making of the album in sort of 2019. And then I did like the guitars, I did my vocals. My friend Chaz did some of those lead guitars. I was like, give it a Nashville sound. And I feel like we managed to do that, right? But then what happened is a year later, I was like, it's missing just a little bit of magic. And so we redid the keys for it, the piano for it, with Ashlyn in the studio. And Dean added like an organ as well as like a little bit of texture right underneath the mix. And then it felt more finished. So yeah. The reason it's called Fuckboy Song is because if you look at the lyrics of this song, there's nothing that really stands out as like a word or something. Do you know what I mean? And I couldn't come up with it. And so when I brought it to my mixing engineer, Dave Tither, he was like, what do I call this session? And I was like, I don't know, because it doesn't have a title yet. At first I was going to call it Untitled, and then I thought that was not very cool. So basically I said, it's a song about me being a fuckboy, so just call it Fuckboy Song. In the meantime, I'll figure it out. Never did figure it out. Song about me being a fuckboy. Well, I won't go into details about that. We don't need to. Look, let's just put it that way. In that time of my life, I was going through some shit. And I was not very nice at times because I was so wrapped up in my stuff. And sometimes not being nice catches up with you. And if you're a person with normal empathy and normal human emotions and a heart, you're going to feel guilty. And I felt guilty. So that's when I wrote Fuckboy Song. Just messing people about a little bit. I'm not proud of it. I am not proud of it. I would have never guessed from listening. Well, the line that comes down to is, I only ever wanted it because I knew I shouldn't. That's all I'm going to say. Like, you don't need further explanation than that, I think. Like, I don't know. Maybe it does. Then you nailed the title. I don't know. I couldn't come up, for a while I was trying to like come up with something. There was a part of me that was gonna, I was gonna name the track the name of the person this is about. And then I was like, that's not cool. I was an asshole to this person. And then I was gonna like release a song about being an asshole to this person and name it their name. That's just wrong. And then, and then I was like, maybe I could just like make it a fictional name, like create a new name for this person. There was a period where I was like, maybe I call it Adam because of like Adam and Eve. And then I was like, that's fucking wanky. I'm not going to do that. Fuckboy Song works. I'm okay with that. It just works. But many conversations with people being like, what do you think I should call this song? And no one could come up with a good enough answer. To the person I wrote this about, I am sorry. I think they forgive me. I don't know. I haven't talked to them in a long time. Introducing me. God. All right. That's track one, guys. That song. The time where I messed up. I don't know. Let's stick with Fuckboy Song. It's done now. It's done now. Okay, track 2 of the album. You've heard before the album came out. It was one of the 3 singles we did leading up to the album. It's called Parachute. You've just heard the instrumental of it, but that's fine. We'll play it anyway. We're doing track by track, guys. If you can think of any questions while listening, by the way, any lyrics you're like sort of curious about, anything like that, please drop them in the chat so I know what to talk about. I'm trying to like come up with things to talk about. But yeah, so next track is called Parachute, and let's listen to it once I am ready with this stuff.
My brain cells are all fuzzy, trying to connect the dots in some kind of hurry. I've lost it again, striving to comprehend. The parachute is on my back, but I can't reach the core. Nothingness overwhelming me. I am empty to the core. I'm swallowed up when I was so certain I'd escaped back to my breaking point all over again. Will shut me down, loading error. I'm like some old computer, being stuck on 99%. Too powerful to possess. The day's getting colder. Can't take this weight on my shoulders. The parachute is on my back, but I can't reach the core. Nothingness overwhelming me. I
And that was Parachute. Hope you guys enjoyed that. It's such a good one. I love that one so much. It's got so much energy. I get badass ML vibes from this. I mean, I get why. It's a badass fucking song. The guitars are really nice on this one. We spent so long like creating the guitar tones for this. So funnily enough, this song actually is another song that I self-produced originally, finished it, and around the sort of time Dean and I started talking about working together, he heard the finished Amel-produced Parachute, and he was like, I've seen you perform this on Twitch. Where is the energy? And he had a point. He had a fucking point. I tried my best, but let's be real, I was a rookie at production. I didn't really know what I was doing, and that's fine. You know, and I did produce some other songs on this album, by the way, all by myself, and I think I did a great job. But with this particular song, I've just got it here. If you guys want to hear like a little bit of the original Parachute, like, so the parts are sort of the same and stuff like that, but you'll see what I mean by it's missing a lot of energy. Like the guitar tones are not the same. The mixing is not the same. I don't know. There's just, and my vocals fell flat. I also rewrote some of those lyrics like last minute, literally in the studio, like about to record my vocals with Dean. I was like, do you know what? There's a couple lines I don't like in this, and I like rewrote them quickly. So that was another thing that happened. But so this is a little bit of the original version of Parachute. Let's get it here. Okay, and hello, welcome in. Why is it not working? Come on. There we go. So it's not bad, but it's not anywhere near as powerful and energetic as this new version that we ended up with. So that was one of the songs that once Dean got into Bristol, like we redid from scratch together. So yeah, huge learning curve on this one. Sans Karma, yeah, for sure. And like that, you know, did I waste my money? Yes, absolutely. But at the same time, this is what making a record is, especially when it's your first album, you're doing a lot yourself. You're going to ultimately make mistakes and learn from them, and that's fine. Like at the end of the day, that's investment for the future, right? So let me just catch up a little bit on chat here. As a software engineer, I would like to discuss the old computer reference. No, I'm kidding. Well, basically, I wrote this song in 2018. The whole album was written between 2018 2019. I was not in a good place, man. And it was just one of those days. I had a little bit of a breakdown. But my dissociation disorder is... So for those who don't know, I've had very, like, there and there episodes of dissociation, but this is something I used to struggle with every single day, to different sort of levels, but this is something that I struggled with constantly. And so my dissociative disorder basically meant that I didn't really feel like present in the world or present in my body at any point. It really just numbs your brain and makes everything feel like it's a dream and stuff like that. And like, that's because my brain couldn't cope with anything because I had like trauma and whatever. And as a result, like, but the fact that I felt nothing also made me feel incredibly overwhelmed at the same time. And I remember like saying before I wrote Parachute, like maybe a few weeks before, I said that to a friend. I was like, I feel like I'm this like computer that's like, you know, on like old Windows 98 type like PCs where the loading bar would go up to like 99% and then just get stuck there. I was like, I feel like I'm in between two worlds, but neither of which are like good. So that's where that line comes from. Yeah, if that makes sense. Jeff, hello, how are you? It's good to see you. And Goomba, who's lurking. Sorry, I just burped a little bit. Keep up with the news night. But oh my God, I do need to update that. Your producer decided to call me. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. How is it? By the way, 37 people, little parentheses. Parenthesis? Is that the word? How was recording with Lauren? Was that fun? Let me know. You guys were in like Nashville, I want to say, if I got this right. Nashville was epic. I would love to record in Nashville, man. That must be fucking sick. I bet, dudes. Must have been nice being like in that studio environment as someone who's watching. I don't know how involved you were, but I always love being in studios, especially when it's not me who has to work. And don't get me wrong, yeah, for sure, I don't blame you. Like, I find studios a bit funny on my brain though, because especially when you're in the zone as a sort of like as a musician working, because it's so dark. Like, studios rarely have windows, so you always end up sort of like feeling like you have no sense of time and stuff like that. It's really weird. Oh my God, Kolinsky, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, guys. How was your stream? Etheria, hi. How was your stream? Thank you so much. Boris, thank you so much for that gift sub to Kolinsky. Hey Raiders, welcome in. My name is Melrose. I'm a singer-songwriter and I just released an album yesterday. So today's stream is a little different to what I would do normally here, which is play songs. We're just having a little bit of a listening party, listening through my album, and I'm sort of talking about each track, giving lots of little stories and fun facts. But yeah, how was your stream? I'm afraid I'm not playing songs today. Normally I would say I would love to play you a song to say thank you, but I am only talking and vibing today and drinking wine. So let's see how the night goes. But yeah, welcome Raiders. I was just talking about a song of mine we just listened to called Parachute, which is track 2 of my album. A song about anxiety. Stream is great. Talking and vibing is great. Nice. Right, so that was track 2. Do we have any more questions about track 2? Drop them in if you do. I'm just going to wait here. I always feel like I'm waiting for the lag. And the problem is sometimes because of my ADHD, like my brain goes somewhere else after having talked about something and someone will reply and it shows like 20 seconds later for me. And then I'm just like, I have no idea what you're replying to because my brain just goes 1,000 miles an hour all the time. I can't believe you guys basically like, I think it was Rinder, like basically diagnosed me with ADHD before I actually found out I had ADHD. He was like, you mean you don't have ADHD? And now it's just like, yeah, that makes so much fucking sense. That's why I failed at fucking uni and like school. I didn't fail at school. I just found it extremely difficult to get started on my homework. Anyways, I'm just talking shit now. If there's no more questions about Parachute, the track 3 is I Prayed for Peace, which has been out for ages. But the sort of single rollout was delayed massively. Mostly because I got pregnant, you guys. And I have no shame in saying my pregnancy was not planned. But I don't regret it whatsoever. But it did slow me down in my tracks a little bit. So that's why we didn't get a single for a while. Did you remix or remaster track 3 from the album for the album? No, we did not. We meant to remaster it and ran out of time. So we did not change anything about it. Because every other track was mastered by someone called Gio, who did an amazing job. But I Pray for Peace was actually mastered by Dean ages ago. And we just never got around to it. Ran out of time. We were You never said anything. Looking back, guys, my pregnancy fucked me up. It was hard shit. I was so struggling. It was weird because I felt like I was struggling, and then I was like, am I just like over the top? And I like gaslit myself into thinking that I was making it sound worse than it was to myself. And then I gave birth, and literally 2 days later, my general fatigue like vanished, even though I was not sleeping because I had a newborn. But yeah, no, it was hard. It was hard. Anyways, I still finished the fucking record while pregnant. You guys, I was having waves of morning sickness in the studio, and I still finished it. So if that's not rock and roll, I don't know what is. Anyways, track 3 is called I Prayed for Peace. Let's listen to it.
I've said it once some time ago, I'll say it twice. Children your age are welcome in my playground. Mistakes followed by apologies, but apologies always followed by the next mistake. Was there no one before? Try to keep my sanity in check by trying to see the good through your pores. I should Google your resonate.
And that was I Prayed for Peace. Do you know what? It's still one of my favorite songs on this album. Like, I'm still so in love with it, which is, I think, like, not a lot of musicians still absolutely love their music a while after it's out. Like, you do get bored of things and then you're like just hearing the flaws. But this, in my head, is like, it's a perfect song. I still love it just as much as I did on day one, which is really, really special. No, yeah. Let me catch up with chat quickly. Rockets to Rolls, morning sickness is the worst. It's not a fun time, and it doesn't just happen in the morning. I don't know why we call it morning sickness. Bullshit. Anyways. Apologies, always followed by the next mistake. Sounds so tired with that shit. By the way, guys, just a little trigger warning while I'm here for the next 3 minutes. I'm going to be touching base on sexual harassment, just so you know. So if you're not comfortable with that, mute this, come back in a bit. It's absolutely fine. Yeah, I was fucking tired. This is like, I feel like in any situation of, I don't want to, I wasn't in a situation of abuse, but it fucked me up so bad. I don't know why I don't want to call it abuse. I guess I just felt harassed and like my boundaries were not respected by this asshole of a person who basically, the thing is, like, we had like this friendship group in common, so we would see each other a lot, and then he'd like get fucking gross with me and he'd be drunk, and then the next day he'd call me up, I'm so sorry, it's because I was drunk. But you know, like, you do want to see the best in people, but at some point apologies don't mean anything anymore because it's going to keep happening, right? Actions mean something. And the sad thing is, it did stop eventually when I called the fucking cops, put it that way. And I still, to this day, it's been over 2 years since 3 years now, since this situation has ended. And part of me still wants an apology, but it would hold no meaning if I did get one. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, I'm just like, this may be the last thing I need to really move on and not hold that resentment anymore, but I don't think it would mean anything. So you're right, it is such a tired line. It's weird how this track feels especially nostalgic when played in the context of the album. I'm so glad you think so. I think it works well as a single, but I'm so glad you see how it also works with everything else. I feel that so much with my released music, being bored of it. Dude, most of my music, like, I've always felt like that. And I feel like actually with this record for the first time, even though there's a part of me that's, you know, when you release music, by the time you're releasing music, you're already thinking, what would I do differently next time? What am I going to do differently in my sound for the next release? How am I going to work on music differently? But I'm still so proud of all of these songs, and I've never had that with any of my old music. Everything else can go in the trash as far as I'm aware. But with these songs, okay, there's maybe one song on the album that I'm just a bit like, ugh. But it's because I also overplayed it live. But it's still a fun song. I'm just a bit like, ugh, I'm bored of this song now. I've been playing it for too long. But yeah. Maybe you don't want to call it abuse because you didn't mean to be abusive, which for me would make it worse. Yeah, I think that's a problem with some people, is they don't view themselves as problematic. I don't know. You're right. It's definitely about a gray zone, because this isn't about, how to say, I feel like you feel a lot more legitimate in your own feelings when someone is outrightly being an asshole all the time. If someone never apologizes and keeps being awful to you, you can just tell yourself, well, you're an awful person. The world is suddenly black and white. It makes it easier to accept. But you're right, because this is a gray area situation as much as it's unforgivable stuff that I've gone through. The hot, absolutely hot and cold. It makes you feel guilty. It makes you feel like it's your fault. They could stop, just didn't want to as much. Well, I mean, this is private life stuff, but I'm just going to say it. The reason it took me so long to call the cops was, first of all, because I wanted to believe that this person had something good in them and that they could inherently change. But the reality is, one of those apologies, after a year of this happening, you know, on and off, he apologized yet another time. And as always, I said, sure, whatever. And he was like, but I can't stop myself. So next time I do this, just ignore me, okay? And that's when I was like, oh, you're telling me you are actually unable to control yourself. And that's when I called the cops. And that's what put an end to it. It's sad, but it's what happened. And then the fucker released music about it. Anyway, don't get me. I've had enough wine already. I'm like, I'm about to spill some shit. I'm not gonna do that. But it's not a nice person. Just accept that it'll happen again. Oh yeah, he was like, I don't think I can stop it, but it's fine. Just ignore me. Honey, what? People are mad. People are mad. I Prayed for Peace was the first song that Dean and I worked on together, by the way, you guys. So I was, again, at this point, you know, from 2019 to 2020, at this point, I'm self-producing everything, basically. And Dean and I got to know each other online because of a live stream I did on Facebook, of all places, in March 2020, because that's what all fucking musicians did. Dean was there, he watched, and he really enjoyed the music. We got talking, we were nerding about our favorite indie artists and stuff. And he was like, look, if you ever need feedback, anything like that, give me a shout. And I did give him a shout. I'm just trying to find a file here. And basically, I'd hit a bit of a wall with I Prayed for Peace. I was like, I think it needs to be huge in the atmospheric, painful element of things. And don't get me wrong, it was like at a good place. I'm actually just trying to find it here of what the song sounded like before Dean's input. If I can find it, that is. Mix one. Yeah, found it. All right. I'm just going to put, you know, the big sort of section that's happening at the end. Again, it's not bad. I don't hate it like I hated Parachute. But it had potential, do you know what I mean? Being empathetic sucks sometimes. Totally. It's horrible. Wish I was a sociopath sometimes. I'm joking. Oh, God. Okay. This is I Prayed for Peace before Dean came into the picture. Okay. Whoopsie. Sorry. It's not bad. So it was not at a bad place. It just wasn't at a great place either. But I think, you know, and I said to Dean, I've hit a wall with this. What would you do? And he was like, look, I'm not going to tell you what I would do. I'm just going to do it. And that's how Dean and I worked on I Prayed for Peace together remotely in lockdown. And then after I Prayed for Peace, I was so in love with it that I was like, you're gonna have to help me with the rest of my record. And yeah, that's the little story of I Prayed for Peace. Do we have any questions? Whoopsie, sorry. Oh my god, I'm feeling chaotic. I need to chill on the wine, guys. I'm feeling it hit my head. I had a cocktail as well before that. But yes, let me know if there's any further questions about I Prayed for Peace. I'll join you. Ugh. Don't pass out before Pretty Thing, please. I'm not going to pass out. My tolerance is just much lower than it used to be because pregnancy. I was sober for a long time. Okay, if you still have questions about I Prayed for Peace, I'm just going to play the next song, but do drop them. That's fine. Next song is Love is Dead. Okay. I'm not... wine talking. I'm not gonna go into massive details about this one because I can't emotionally do that right now or ever. But let's listen to it because it's there. It's there. But if you do have questions about Love is Dead in whatever capacity that may be, do ask them. Just don't ask me, what happened? That's all. That's the only thing I'll say about it. But yeah, do feel free to ask questions about specific lyrics if you want to. If I don't want to answer the question, I'll just say basically. All right.
They call me a survivor, but I don't know about that. I've lost emotions of feeling alive. He called it a mistake and apologized, but I still suffocate and silently howl at night, thinking of the face he had, his hands on my neck. Was I shut to my mouth? The lady on the phone called it self-preservation, but I call it silent approval of destruction, slow destruction for years on in us to equally parts is how in the bar we met every weekend. I heard you were good at getting it. My friend Matil told me all about it, but I don't wanna hear about it. And I swore to myself, no man would hurt me again. Love is dead, but I ain't. Yet all these nights I wish I was, when I get flashbacks of your clothes. It takes time, deleted for my own sake, how I fell for a boy who held your name. You never knew, couldn't talk, so I just worked it through. When my body pressed against it, started shaking that November night, I said that I was sorry, it just happens sometimes. And I swore to myself, no no man would hurt me again. Love is dead, and I swore to myself I would ditch your memory chains. Love is dead, but I ain't. Shattered faith in your hands, in your hands. Lost the fate of my own lustfulness. You can't break me. Can't break me no more. And I swore to myself no man would hurt me again. Love is dead, and I swore to myself I would ditch your memory chains. Love is dead, but I ain't.
Every time I have listened to this song, the last 20 times I listened to this song, I was like, absolutely fine. And right now I'm like, oh my God, I'm not fine. What the fuck? It's just like the fact that I'm listening to it with you guys is like making me focus on it more. And I'm just like, oh no, I'm sorry. Oh gosh. Right. Wine will help. I should have gotten more in the fridge. Damn. Love the guitar on this track. Oh, thank you. That's basically how it was written. Let me see. Oh, Jazz, how did I not notice you here? Jazz, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Love the strings too. Ah, yes, it's my favorite thing about this song. I love the strings. I was really I don't know. I know I bang on about Phoebe Bridgers a lot. I know a lot of my music actually sounds like her, but I was so inspired. She did an EP a while back. Where is it? What's it called? Copycat Killer. It's an EP with 4 songs from her album Punisher that she did the Copycat Killer version of, and this is all rearranged by a composer called Rob Moose. And basically they're like string arrangement songs, and there was so much like tension and release in the chord progressions and stuff like that in those versions, and that was like a centerpiece of like my inspiration for the production on this song. So yeah, would love to know who is responsible for the beautiful violin. So Dean got someone from... So basically, we wrote the drum, the brain not working. We wrote the violins, the string arrangement on MIDI with a producer called Darcy Cole, and basically sent the scores off to a violinist called Cedra Bistodo. I don't actually how to say her last name, I do realise that. Who's based in Nashville, and I remember because I had actually gotten someone else to do those violins at first, and I was not a fan of the feel. I couldn't tell what was wrong with it, but I was like, it's missing all the emotion. I don't know what it is. And Cedra just fucking nailed it. It's like everything is so like clean and perfect in her playing. I don't know how to explain. Like her playing is actually perfect, but still it like has emotion to it. I feel like sometimes if you play perfectly as a musician, it could sound a little bit robotic almost. But for some reason, Cedra manages to do that and still sound emotional. And what a brilliant player. I'm blown away by her. But yeah. Hi, Music Today YouTube. I'm afraid we are not doing requests tomorrow because we're having a little bit of an album listening party. I am warm, so I just turned off the heater. We're doing a little bit of an album listening party today, so we're not doing requests, I am afraid. Duckhoo, thank you so much for that resub, by the way. I had to because ads keep interrupting the stories. Oh, is it? I feel like I'm so behind on Twitch stuff, but it's really bad with ads recently, isn't it? How long did this take to write? Some parts seem to have been written at different times than others. Oh my god. I mean, this is a song... Okay, this is a song about some terrible fucking trauma I went to, which I think you can guess if you pay attention to the lyrics even a little bit. I think between the moment, like... How do I say this? This is the song that took me the longest to write successfully. There was completely different versions of it started writing in the past. This is something I needed to write, not something I wanted to write. This was the process of like accepting and understanding what had happened to me. And it was not about... I was never about writing a song to put out. It was always a thing of like, I need to process what's happened to me. And so technically, I think it took years, really. There might have been some... Let me just have a look at the lyrics. But there might have been some lines that I wrote in chunks, you're right, and then like sort of glued things together. Let me look up the lyrics, see what you may mean here. Do you mind having a look for me and telling me exactly like where you think, like between what lines you feel like there's been a sort of weird chunk of whatever? Because I am curious to see where you would think that would happen. I think like verse 2 is a bit of a list. Because actually, this isn't so much a song about what happened to me. It's a song about the aftermath. Oh my god, we've got a hype train. Oh, incoming. My bad. Invisible Jazz, thank you. I've never called you by your full username, but thank you so much for the bits. And Boris, thank you so much for the resub. I think like verse 2 feels a bit like a list of post-traumatic symptoms, really, if that makes any sense. It's just like a list of like all the things that are ruminating, and I don't know if that makes sense. Being full named. I don't even know how you could release it. Like, write about it, I totally understand, but it is so vulnerable. Oh, totally. Like, I don't know what took me to decide I'm going to release it. I had I played it live, I think a couple of times, and it like in the middle of like a band set, say, so like I'd go solo and just do that, and then it messed me up too much. Like after that, the rest of my set, I was just like in my head about it. But I think like I learned to sort of detach myself from the lyrics when I'm playing live in a way, and I get all the emotional singing from like the music rather than the lyrics. I do try to detach myself a little bit. I think just now it's because I was concentrating on the lyrics and then I was like, oh God. But yeah. Kolinsky, thank you so much for the bits. Doku! Oh my god, thank you so much for the 10 gift subs. What the hell? Thank you so much. Oh, good night, Etheria. Thank you so much for being with us. Verse 1 seems to consist of first half and second half. Every time it switches between the he and you. Hang on. They call me a survivor. I don't know about that. He called it a mistake. Where do I say you? Hang on. They call me a... Ah, yeah. I heard you were good at getting it. Yeah, I think it's because it was a bit of an anger statement to say that. The last three sort of lines is the awful realization. I went back home to visit some friends and my family, obviously. And my friend was all like, oh, we've made this new friend. And it hit me after a while through the conversation who they were talking about. And obviously I got triggered massively. But it made me so angry to think of him as a normal person, who had a life and did fun things and stuff like that. And I think the reason I switched to you is because it's like addressing him directly anger thing. I don't know if that makes sense. It's a very good little thing you've noticed, by the way. But yeah. Ducko, thank you so much again. Just catching up with chat here. Your claws. Ah, yes. Good point as well. I was wondering about the lady on the phone, but I think that might be too personal. No, I'm okay to talk about it. The lady on the phone, I called her... Has anyone ever called a mental health crisis team? And how terrible can it be? I did that. And it just like did not make me feel validated whatsoever. So yeah, that's who the lady on the phone is. Any other questions before we move on to the next song? This is a heavy song, guys. I'm not going to lie. It's a heavy song. Those hotlines, yes, indeed. The sort of like suicide prevention type or like mental health crisis hotlines. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to like shit talk them. There are some good hotlines out there, but there's also some really fucking useless ones. And that's just the reality of it. I feel like when people go through a tough time on like social media, like people will tell you, oh, if you're feeling terrible, just call one of those hotlines. And it's just such a solution. What we need as a society is better access to mental health services, not a hotline with someone telling you it's okay not to be okay. In my experience, that's how I feel about it. Dean, hello. I'm guessing it also depends who's on the other end. Unfortunately, some therapists are just crap at their job. The thing is, with hotlines, it's not usually actual therapists. It's usually just volunteers. So this isn't even mental health professionals. That's the other problem. But that's a big conversation, I guess, like, to have about these things. Dean, how are you? It's so good to see you here. I'm guessing I know you've said you were busy. We were just talking about a line from track 4. We're going song by song, discussing the songs, having a little bit of a fun time. Apart from the last 5 minutes, I'm not having the greatest time because I'm talking about a really sad song. but it's still nice to be able to talk about it. How are you? We're about to listen to Pretty Thing, Daku, you'll be happy to hear. Pretty Thing featuring Easy Mess. If you have any... It feels like yesterday we were making this record. It really fucking does, doesn't it? God, I can't believe it's finished. It feels like it was in a perpetual state of unfinished, and now it is finished. Anyways, Pretty Thing. If you guys have any questions about that particular track, anything like that, do drop them while it's playing so that we can all catch up with that. Yeah, this is track 5. And after I've talked about this one, we'll take a little break as well. Don't worry. I know I'm talking a lot of shit right now, but we'll take a little wee break.
Everything was going fine. I was sticking you out for a bit of wine. I guess that's what us people do in this town. I've clearly been misreading the signs, and I found out the hard way. You pretty thing from the Clapton Cafe. Whoa, I guess that I was wrong. Here's my final reason to move on. I watched you with him slipping through my fingers. It's becoming crystal clear right there as I linger. I stay in my lane with no one to blame. I may have lost the flame, but I start all over again with someone new, just as I always do. And I found out the hard way. You pretty thing from the Clapton Cafe. Whoa, I guess that I was wrong. Here's my final reason to move on.
Ah, love this one. Daku, you're right. It's a good one. Thank you so much, guys. Dean, it's so good to see you here. And also MK, 69. I'm just going to call you 69. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, welcome in. We're listening to my debut album, front to back, that came out yesterday, and just talking about the songs today. A little bit of a different stream than what we do usually, but thanks for being here. So yeah. Any questions about this song, Pretty Thing? Do you know what? I'm so glad this came after Love Is Dead, because this song is not about me or my terrible trauma. So thankfully, I don't feel any emotions thinking about it. The little story is, so I didn't write this with Easy Mess, but the reason Easy Mess is on this track with me is, so Adrian is his real name. He's one of my best friends forever. And he played a lot of drums on this album, actually, but also just like a long time collaborator of mine. We played weddings together, like pub gigs together. He was actually here for a stream a while back. Sadly, because I'm in Bristol now and I'm a mum, we just don't see each other anywhere near as much as we used to. But we've sung together for many, many, many years. And this is one of the songs, like back when we did these band gigs together, he would come from like the back of the drum kit and the whole band would like go away just for a song's time, and he would come up with me and we would sing this song together because he just loves harmonies, that boy. And so we wrote this harmonies together, and he just did it, just loved the harmonies. And I was like, cool, for the album version you have to sing on this with me. And he was very happy to be asked, and so this is why we have him. Duckhoo, this is your favorite song, so do you have any sort of questions about it for some reason? I love this song, in case I forgot to mention. Such a beautiful song. The thing with the song is, you know how some songs put you into this spiraling, depressing state and you have to stop yourself from listening to it? That happens to me every once in a while with some songs. Well, I feel this song so deeply, but I don't go into that depressing spiral at all. I kind of get what you mean, like when a song feels bad, but that feels good. Like I know what that feels like. I love sad music for that. So this song's not about me, guys. I was going through a breakup when I wrote this. This was in 2018. I was going through a breakup and I was so tired of writing about my breakup that I was like, I'm gonna write about my friend's story and make it dramatic. And this is the very simple story of my friend going on a couple dates with this girl and then being like, come along to this night out with my friends, like you can meet my friends. This is before anything happened, right? And he really likes her, and she's like, yeah, I'll come along to this night out with your friend. And she brings her boyfriend that she just got back with to this event, and all of us were like, this is fucking awkward. Can you imagine like inviting someone romantically to come meet your friends before you sort of like have made any sort of move on them, but you know it's about to happen, and then they come up and they show up with their fucking... Anyways, and so this is the story of the girl that worked at a cafe in Clapton that my friend never got with. And the funny thing is, he was like, yeah, whatever, man. There's this other girl I really liked. And I was like, you're just fucking saying that. I don't believe you. Well, no, he's been with this girl for like 5 years now. So I was wrong. It turned out okay. But I liked the story of the idea of the disappointment of like, what the hell? The little bit of shock of like, well, guess we're never going to be a thing then, but that's fine. I'll move on. So that's what this song's about. I watched you with him slipping through my fingers. Who is you and who is him here? Well, you is Clapton Cafe girl. With him, that's the boyfriend, right? That she just got back with. But like, you know, she didn't like... The thing is, this girl, she didn't warn him. She didn't warn him that she decided to get back with her ex. Like, she was probably just casually dating, or some, I don't know. She was probably casually dating right after her breakup to try and get over it, and then got back with her ex and just like was like, well, if I bring him to this thing, then I'll be fine. That's when your friend found out he was a rebound. Exactly. But my friend was okay. And every time he hears this song, he's like, Amel, I'm okay. It was nothing, honestly. But I like to be dramatic. I like to be dramatic. Sometimes when inspiration doesn't come or when you'll keep writing about the same things over and over, it's just nice to have some real life entertainment from your friends. So yeah, no one is safe around me, basically. I may or may not write about your lives and make it extra dramatic for the purpose of music. This song, you know what? This song is funny because I started producing it on a more sort of like full-on production level thing. And I just found that it was missing so much emotion, like as much as I tried to. Every time so you know how I was saying, oh, when you're a perfect player, and then it loses emotion or something? Well, every time I tried to produce this track, that's how I felt about it. I was like, well, now it just feels a bit robotic in the wrong way. And so this is how, at the end of the day, I decided to strip it down. And I was like, do you know what? Let's just do acoustic guitar, Adrian and I. And once we did that, then I was like, actually, a cello would be great. And Dean hooked me up with this brilliant cello player. And yeah, that's pretty much what this song is. A mysterious entity. Thank you so much for the dono. Also, the duet parts. Well, they are trios now because I join you guys every time. Oh, I'm glad you like the cello. I think they are so amazing, honestly. Also, I realized after Ro recorded their parts, I followed them on Instagram and I realized they're basically like a fucking legit session musician, like playing with Adele and Billie Eilish or whatever. That would be an idea for a streaming platform. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, Rowan was absolutely incredible. And yeah, that's the story of Pretty Thing. Easy Mess is one of my best friends, guys. If you're into like Damien Rice type, indie folk, go check him out. He's great and he's a good egg. Right, I need... Did they? Oh, gosh. Ro played on... But honestly, I was literally like checking their Instagram the other day. Lots of like Netflix movies, schools as well, all sorts of stuff. Also just an overall... I mean, I've never had the chance to meet them because they're over in the US, but they're honestly the loveliest person ever. Like... I don't know. They just seem very lovely from our interactions. All right, your girl needs a breather, aka the toilet. So I'm gonna go on a little short break. I'll have a cigarette probably, and we'll be back for the second half of the album soon enough. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. It's been so fun so far. I'm having a great time. Also, from like interlude onwards / after interlude, it picks up a little bit in energy. I promise that we're not doing 20,000 more depressing songs. I mean, this is a pretty sad album, let's be real, but it'll pick up. It'll pick up. After all onwards, it picks up. Damn! I love these fun facts. I love this. Dean DeChoso. Dean DeChoso. Why am I See, I am reading people's usernames and I'm like saying them in full invisible jazz. Dean DeChoso. Full fucking name, dude. All right. All right. I'll be right back. Full names for all. Also, guys, I am so sorry, but since I did the update on OBS, I can't fucking like have my scene switch automatically for whatever reason. Calm down. I've had too much wine. I need to chill. My scenes don't switch, so the song might just like loop or something. I don't know. Anyways, I will see you guys shortly.
said it once some time ago. I'll say it twice. Children your age aren't welcome in my playground. Mistakes followed by apologies, but apologies always followed by the next mistake. Was than the one before. Try to keep my sanity in check by trying to see the good through the pores. Blaming it all on the alcohol, unleashing your impulses on my body, but I can only stop you from doing so silently, silently. Couldn't breathe, picture in your masterpiece.
Motherfucking song didn't even loop. We're back. All right, next track on our list is the interlude, which is a bit. It's gonna be interesting to talk about this one because it's its own thing. It's part of the album. It's not a song. I mean, it is a song, but it's not really a song. Anyway, let's listen to it again. Any questions you may have about this, drop them into the chat while it's playing, and we can discuss.
First of all, what's been happening?
I'm sorry, I don't have any.
It's okay.
White walls never felt so cold, and I never liked the smell of hospital. I begged for them not to go. Get me out of here, I'll be fine on my own. Swear I'm not crazy. Don't your medicine. It's just been a bit tough lately. Don't give me your benzos or sedatives.
There's nothing outside as much as there is nothing inside.
I was not eating in the midst of my panic disorder.
It feels like part of your day, but
I've been trying to stay strong for my family.
The world is in a state of change, and so am I.
I haven't, socially freaked
I just
out.
needed an escape for a little
Someone
bit.
else has a problem, just I find it quite soothing, and I don't engage.
The winter, the light.
I mean, anybody can lose their shit sometimes.
That was the interlude. And I agree, Doobies. Interludes are definitely a tradition to perpetuate. I love them when they happen in albums. Dean, thank you so much for your resub. Means a hell of a lot. Thank you. Any questions about the interlude today? Anything at all that you guys may be interested in? Obviously, this was a weird one. Oh, thank you. This. Oh, come on. What do you mean? Oh, come on. So I wanted to have this like sort of interlude about that would encompass the theme of therapy in the album. Louise is my therapist, by the way, guys. If you wanted to know who conversations with Louise, my therapist. Is it in the lyric scene? Because I can't make out some of the lines. It is, yes. There's not a lot of lines. It says, white walls never felt so cold, and I never liked the smell of hospital. I begged for them not to call, get me out of here, I'll be fine on my own. Swear I'm not crazy, don't want your medicine, it's just been a bit tough lately. Don't give me your benzos or sedatives. Who were all those people talking? That's a very good question. I got a bunch of like friends and strangers on the internet at the time to send me some voice memos, and I was like, basically just pretend you're in. I wanted it to sound like, it's a bit of a weird cliche, but you know, like this idea that therapists like record on the little tape machine all of their like sessions or whatever. I wanted people to send me voice memos as if they were in therapy. And so everyone sent me like sort of like 2-minute long therapy notes, whether it was fictional or their real lives. So that felt fucking wrong to listen to and edit, not gonna lie. But I just sort of like took out some phrases. Dean is actually in there, guys. You can hear it. It's like the really deep voice towards the beginning. Yes, the lyrics are up. I think they're up on like everything really. So yeah, Dean was one of them. And the very first one you hear at the beginning of the song, like before the song sort of starts, is a real therapy session that I was in with my therapist, Louise. So this is Louise's real voice when she goes, so what's been happening this week? And I'm just like, this is a real therapy session, because back when I was in therapy with her, I recorded all of our sessions because I had memory issues because of my dissociation disorder. So this was literally like a real therapy note right there from me. So that's a little fun fact. But yeah, everyone else was sort of, I basically just asked a bunch of people to, I could guess that one felt so genuine. Oh, well, it was. I mean, I wasn't recording this thinking, oh, I'm going to put it in a song. Like, this was a genuine, like, me sitting down, being like, I don't know, just having a bit of a bad week or something. Mel dissociated right in front of me when we first met on FaceTime. That shit was very real. I've dissociated on stream before. I think some of you have seen it. But I promise, like, I've healed so much since, like, the EMDR therapy I have done has helped me so much with my symptoms. And I do still dissociate at times, but it's like nothing compared to what it used to be. So I am very thankful and grateful that I have gone through that work, because it felt like work. But yeah. So yeah, I love when the voices kind of mix together. It makes me think like we're all on the same boat at the end. That's exactly what I was trying to do. I'm so glad you've said that. Yes, I'm so glad you've said that. Oh my God. Let me just catch up quickly and make sure I didn't miss anything. Da-da-da. Da-da-da. Sorry. I am checking them here. Or do you have your zine already? Did you order a zine? Can't remember now. I think you managed to pause video and audio just before any episode really hit. Yes. I'm so sorry. I try my best. But yeah, it's much better now. It's much better. But that's why I recorded all of my sessions. And to this day, it's still kind of good for me to have them, because when I'm at lowest, like, it's a good reminder of how far I have come. And sometimes I need to remind myself of certain things I did learn in therapy. And so it's good to have them. But it kind of feels funny, like, listening to my past self in therapy, because I'm just like, oh, girl, you had so much to learn. But it's just how it is, right? So yeah, this is the little interlude. Next song we have up is After All. So that's a fun one. Should we play it? If you guys, again, if you have any questions, drop them in. I'm very happy to discuss anything you may want to know. So yeah.
No, we didn't just get lost in translation. Is it the cocaine that's damaged your brain? Oh, I fell for it too, but I've never abused a bit of you of anyone. Stay away from me and everyone. After all, I made it out alright. And
I was waiting for the little drumsticks to be put down at the end there. I love that we kept that in. Yes, I can't do anything about it being in mono because I'm using two machines. OBS just doesn't like that for whatever fucking reason. It's really frustrating. But thank you for noticing. Oh, all right. Well, banger. I just love that one so much. Can't quite remember. Was this the song in the recording session that was streamed? No. After all, we recorded remotely in lockdown season. So I did a lot of the sort of guitars, my vocals, literally in this room right here. And then I had this drummer. It's really funny. I had this drummer back when I was in the... Back when I was in school, like my last sort of few years of school, I was in this band. Like, we fucking sucked, man. But it was the school band. Do you know what I mean? But long story short, the drummer went out and became a really good drummer and, like, does it professionally these days. And I was like, do you have, like, a studio set up at home, like, in lockdown? Do you want to play on this? Like, I need someone to do some big rock drums, like... And we hadn't talked in years. Like, we weren't really close friends or anything. But he was like, yeah, I'm fucking keen, man. I'm bored as shit. And so he did the drums remotely. I did a lot of stuff here. And then Dean did some stuff remotely from his bass. I want to say you played bass on it. And then my friend Jamie also did some guitars on it. So it was very much like remote lockdown work, this song, where we all sort of did it from home. But yeah, and Dean made it fucking huge, basically. It's been a bit of long time. It's been, yeah, over a year now. That electric guitar was indie vibes all the way. Totally, totally. Amel, I forget, was this Gautier? Yes, it was. So, again, yeah, just like school pal who I haven't really talked to much, but... We were bored in lockdown. I was like, hey, I haven't talked to you in fucking years. Do you want to play on my records? And he was very happy about that. This one feels even more powerful when you've listened to all the songs before, like the I did more than survive line. This is actually something my therapist taught me once. My therapist, I was like, we were talking about, you know, trauma and whatever. And she was like, but you didn't just like, survive or like exist after your trauma. You actually lived and made a life for yourself, and you should be really proud of yourself for doing that despite all of the hurdles that you've encountered in your life. And I knew from that moment I wanted to put that in a song, and so this is what it was. I guess this song is an angry song at the family member that traumatized me and messed me up, because basically it's my dad. I've said before, I have daddy issues. I don't know why I'm being like conservative about it, but my father is a cunt. I said the C word, sorry, not sorry. He's just not a very nice person, and he's manipulated me and gaslit me for my entire life, and it caused a lot of issues for me. And I just needed this like super empowering, angry song where I could say fuck you, because actually I made a good life for myself despite everything you've done to me. So, yeah. Remember that started a long time ago. Well, guys, Doobie Does was in school with me, so she remembers when I was in the trenches of figuring out my relationship with my father here. I played additional high-gain guitars. Yes, you did. You did. I remember that. Do you actually keep in touch? He can play. Like, I remember he was like, you know, in like the school band, like he was the leader. He was the nerd, man. He was the one that I was like, I'm going to make a job out of this. Yeah, he's a very good player. So yeah, it's a little good empowering song about any type of sort of like narcissistic, I don't want to call it narcissistic abuse. Let's call it that. And I love it. I love it. It's a good fucking song. I think. It's one I needed to write, for sure. Any more questions about After All while we're here? Barry, hello. Welcome in. How are you doing? So good to see you. Guys, I've run out of wine. I still have wine at home, like somewhere. But I've run out of wine here. I did not drink this entire bottle just a week later. There was about a third left. In my defense. But I'm kind of like, do I get more and embarrass myself live on the internet? Or do we keep it? Do we keep it at that for now? I mean, we have like, what, 3 more songs? 4 more songs. But yeah, any questions about After All? There should be some gross Aperol in the kitchen hidden away. What are you talking about? I don't have that at home. Jazz, there's no pressure to stay. Don't worry, but it's up to you. By the way, I saw on the break a mysterious entity. I don't know if you're still watching, but I know you're probably lurking away, so I'm not going to say your name, but it's such a pleasure to see you here, and thank you for your donor again. Right, let's move on to Manchild then. Again, Manchild, we've had for a while, guys, about a year actually. So it's not exactly a new song. Wait, yeah, it is Manchild. Again, any questions about Manchild, drop them while it's playing, and let's listen to it now. That's the wrong song. There we go. I'm gonna get some wine. That was Man Child. This is the song I feel like I've overheard for myself. Thanks, guys. Yes, a question. Any more questions? I feel like I've talked about this song a lot in the past now, but we'll talk about it a little bit. I love hearing you go through this, like introducing your baby. It does feel like it. It does feel like it, except with Madeline, it was a bit more like, this is baby. She cries. She poops. She drinks milk. Bit more straightforward than this, right? Why did you take out your anger on that poor innocent laptop? Look, I know you're a software engineer or something, but I will say this. The poor innocent laptop was already broken. It was already dead. I was, so was the TV. So it's okay, surely. It's okay. But it felt good, man. It felt fucking good. Look, what I love about Man Child is while the rest of the album is so emotionally charged, this one is just a little bit like, it's a classic ego hurt breakup song. Dean, I am not going to comment on that. I am not going to comment on that. But it's funny that you've said that. But no one's going to have enough context. I hate that computer. Okay. I think if you've been around enough and you know a little bit about the drama of my life that happened last year, this laptop belonged to that person, so I definitely don't feel bad. Just want to say I wish I had written I still got your silly puppy eyes on rewind, because that's exactly how I feel. Yeah. I was broken up with for the first time at the time by a person I definitely was not meant to be with anyway, so like that was a good thing. But my ego was not happy. Also, this person was just a man child. So that's where the song came from. Fun fact, I actually, I like to pretend I'm like the bigger person and stuff like that, but I am also a petty bitch at heart. This person actually saw me play this live once and it was very satisfying. You've heard it too much, your fault for creating a banger. I actually can't wait to play it live again though. Like it's been a while and I am looking forward to hearing it live again, to playing it live again, sorry. Like it's always a fun one. Fabian told me it was a really old laptop. Yes, it was. Smashing stuff is fun. It's definitely therapeutic. I would recommend it. The laptop is convinced that penguins... What are you talking about? Why are you bringing up my ex into this? Dean is saying this because my ex once said... Who, by the way, my non-problematic ex... He was a nice person. No hard feelings there. Once said that he was like, don't penguins and seagulls basically have the same head? And Dean never got over it. There is no translation for man-child in French. I think you're right. This is why I suck at languages. Because... Can't get over that. It was dumb. He was literally like so convinced. He saw a seagull out. Again, non-problematic ex. Love to him, whatever. He was a nice boy. But he was like, he looked at a seagull outside and he was like, this is basically the same head as a penguin. And I was like, what the fuck are you on about? He was like, seagulls and penguins have the same head. And I was like, something is seriously wrong with you, boy. They don't have the same head. And he wanted to prove his point so much that he photoshopped. He shows me a first picture of a fucking seagull, and then he got a penguin and photoshopped a picture of a fucking seagull head onto the penguin. Anyways, But it's a funny story. Come on. If I bumped into my ex tomorrow, I would bring this up. I would say, you do know seagulls and penguins don't have the same head. Anyways, I don't want to think about my ex right now. Jesus. Back to man-child. That was a problematic ex. So we can bitch about him. That's fine. I'll give him the fact that some species have similar looking heads. Guys, I could not write a song in French if I wanted to. Last time I tried to, it's because my American friend, who's like, so this is one of my best friends, guys. Her name's Mara. And she's totally like, she romanticizes everything. Like, that's the kind of person she is. She lived in London for a long time. She's in Italy now. But she loves Paris. And I'm just like, ugh, you know. And, she, you know, like a true American romanticize your life girl. But good for her, because she's actually happy, you know? So, like, I wish I could romanticize my life like she does. But she was like, if you wrote a song in French for me, I would never get over it. And that was my last attempt at writing a song in French, like 3 years ago. I don't think I ever did finish it, but I tried, okay? It's so hard. The French language is too fucking complex. When Derek, you never told me you studied French. I don't remember that. I don't remember you messing up a sentence. But you never said you studied it for 5 years. I bet your Polish is getting real good now. All right, next track up is Deafening. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you like self-conscious or something. Oh, nice one. You should give some tips to Fabian to learn French, because he's not been doing that, and I feel like he should. So well done you for your like persevering into it. Right, let's do Deafening next. Again, as always, as I have been saying for the last 9 tracks, if you have any questions, drop them. That is, French people are the most judgmental bitches ever when it comes to languages. If you speak English well, they will make fun of you. If you don't speak English well, they will make fun of you. Basically, you can't do anything right. It's just lucky that I was a nerd at school when it came to English language, and I was like, fuck you, I'm going to speak it well, even if you're going to make fun of me. So yeah. Totally, Dean, totally. All right, this is Deafening. Any questions about Deafening? Drop them below.
Time passed by, feels so long. Where do I belong? Reach so high, don't know if I can hold onto the thing we call home. This is deafening, and I don't wanna hear that anymore. Close my eyes, see the space I could, live in the way that I should. Setting sights to only slip away, leading me astray. This is deafening. You been so clear. We both know how to let it go, but it's a case I've never been so clear. We both know how to let go, but it's a case I've never been so clear. We both know how to let go, but it's a case I've never been so clear.
And that was Deafening. Hope you guys enjoyed that. What are you saying? Melro has stated, I'm not a born singer and I continue to toil with it. But I'm sure we love how unique her voice is. I just feel like I'm a singer-songwriter. Like, I'm a songwriter and, like, I have an artistic vision before I am a singer. But I think it's because I've always... Do you know what? Maggie Rogers, literally a few days ago, talked about this. I want to say on her Instagram or TikTok. I can't remember what platform it was. But she said she's never viewed herself as a singer because she always viewed it... Like, she always thought of, like, singers, like, being... You know, Whitney Houston, like big diva voices, like Ariana Grande. And then she sort of thought of people like Bob Dylan being songwriters who sing. And I definitely feel like I'm a songwriter who sings. But then she also said, I am a fucking... Like, I mean, Maggie Rogers is a fucking amazing singer. So I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. But I also feel like that. Like, the fact that I sing comes as like a secondary thing. I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah. Once I receive the CD and lyric booklet, I'll have some albums by other artists to share. And Mel's voice is fine. Deafening wasn't too loud. Ha ha ha. I love Maggie Rogers so much. I'm seeing her next month, dude. I'm so excited. You're an alien godly voice who writes songs. I will say, one thing I love about my voice and my tone is that I think like there's so many like trends of what's trendy as a voice, if that makes sense. Like the way people sing, like maybe a few years back, it was a lot of like super soft spoken, like Billie Eilish stuff. And now in pop music, there's a whole new style of voice that's becoming popular. And there's one thing I can say about me, at least, is I think no one sounds like me, and I am actually really happy about that. I don't know if that makes sense. I just don't. I know I'm not the best singer with the best technique and stuff like that. I don't know if that makes sense. That makes sense to me. But it's fine because I'm not trying to be Ariana Grande. Do you know what I mean? No one sounds like me either, I reckon. Okay, so Deafening. It's interesting that you've said that during Deafening, because Deafening, a little fun fact about it, is my vocals on Deafening. I recorded... So I was a little bit... this was at a time where I was gigging all the fucking time, and I'd lost my voice a little bit when I recorded my vocals for this, but I recorded them as a placeholder, just for reference, so I could keep working on the track and recording more bits, but I just wanted to know where verse 1 was and shit like that. So it was just like a one-take vocal thing, and it's really imperfect. But I mean, if you pay attention, okay, let's find some bits.
Don't know if I...
Here, you can hear it.
I don't wanna hear that anymore.
Like, my voice was fucked, man. But actually, every time I tried to record my final vocals for this song, I was like, but I quite liked that I have this like little bit of a cracked voice in this scratch vocal. And even though it's not perfect and I'm a little bit pitchy in a couple of places, I just preferred it to like the idea of like a more polished final 20 take vocal thing. So this is one take when I'm like, I was literally like sat at my desk at my old place in Bristol. Like, I think I was just recovering from a flu, I want to say. And like, I'd been gigging a lot and like, I just did it in one take. Not even thinking about final product stuff. And that ended up staying. Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys. So that's a little fun fact about Deafening. Deafening is a song, it feels like a great full circle moment, and it really ties in with the song Bristol, because I wrote Deafening with someone called Andrew Burke, one of the only co-written songs on the record, who actually sings on it as well. You can hear his voice. But we wrote this song at the time. He lived in, I mean, if you don't know the UK, you're not going to know where Swindon is, but let me tell you, it's a shithole. So he lived in Swindon and I lived in London, and we were both like just really unhappy with where we were at in our lives, and we knew we wanted to maybe move or maybe needed a change of scenery generally, just so that we could have a mental health change of scenery. And for several months later, after writing this song together, we actually did both move. I moved to Bristol and he moved to Leeds. And so that's a nice little funny full circle moment. So yeah. Bunch of people from Swindon just unfollowed. Have you been to Swindon, mate? I mean... Is it in Swindon that there's that crazy roundabout? Hang on. Am I making this up? Yes, okay. I'll show you. You guys. I drove through this once and I lost my fucking mind. I think I was playing a wedding and I had to drive through the Swindon roundabout. I mean, that's the only notable thing about this English town, is all I'm going to say. Nothing else about this town is interesting. But, hang on, where is it? I deleted this scene. Oh my god, you fucking idiot, Mel. Oh no, it's there. There we go. Okay, one sec. Can you see this? This roundabout? Can you see how ridiculous it is? So there's a little roundabout there and a little roundabout there. So you sort of come on, like, how the fuck do you get anywhere? I literally lost my mind, guys, driving through this. It's not iconic. It's dangerous. What are you talking about? How do you drive the magic roundabout in Swindon? There's literally YouTube tutorials on how to drive through the fucking roundabout. How ridiculous is that? So, I am allowed to diss Swindon. It fucking sucks. Anyways, wait till you find out about Milton Keynes in the UK. As a city. It looks like it's straight out of fucking Black Mirror or something. Anyways, was there any more questions on Deafening at all? Cedra played violin on this again, by the way, guys. Cedra. I'm just waiting to see. Oh, Nightbot, you have a question, I see. Cedra is incredible, totally. I think Deafening is one of my favorite guys. It's been a lot of people's favorites as far as I heard. Interesting. I didn't expect it to be. But it is, apparently. But more importantly, next up is my favorite song on the record. I don't get bored of that fucking song. I listened to it in the car yesterday and lost it. This is Out of the Woods. Now, if you have questions about Out of the Woods, drop them in chat and we shall discuss.
Navigated through the highs and lows. I've run out of new ways to numb the pain. I'm just trying to catch up with the flow of keeping my head up and straight. I keep praying that it's not too late, but these familiar thoughts keep me awake. I keep telling myself time and again, just quit it with the overthinking.
Dean, I will never get over this fucking song. I can't believe we pulled this off. We pulled this off, dude. How? Just you and me yes, right? It was just you and I. I mean, yeah. You guys, this song, it was so much. I mean, this was obviously the most challenging one. And Dean and I had to have a lot of... It was just you and me, you're right. We had to have so much back and forth on like... I mean, we kept like making the build up. Like... I'd made it a certain length and then Dean was like, I think we need to make it longer. And we made it longer. We were like, we need to give it space to breathe and build it up. And then we were like, oh, fuck, we need to make it even longer. And it was quite a fucking challenge. And I couldn't have done it without Dean, guys. I mean, I had a vision for it, but like Dean, couldn't have done it without him. It definitely is a journey, and that's exactly what I wanted to do with this song. And I'm so... I can't believe it's my song. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have this feeling every time I hear it. I'm like, we made this? Like... Oh my God. I have been... Do you know, every time I listen to this song, I remind myself of this person that told me it was boring. And every time I hear it, I'm like, don't you, like, in my head, I'm like, it's not fucking boring. It's a journey. It's what it needs to be. It has space where it needs space. It builds up where it builds up. There's a little petty part of me that wants to have the song do really well so I can be like, fuck you, it's not a boring song. It's the best fucking song I've ever made. But yeah, no, there's someone I sent the demo to and they said I should not release it because it's a boring song and no one's gonna like it. And anyway, we're not friends anymore, so it doesn't matter. But I do remind myself of that all the time, that critic. I'm just like, boy, you were so wrong. This song really exercised our love for ambient indie. I know. It was such a good moment. My favorite moment we had on this song is, do you remember we were in the studio in pre-production and so we were talking about that last chorus and I was like, can we like be metal and make it halftime on the drums? And you got so excited that I said that as an idea. You were like, holy fucking shit, absolutely, yes, let's do that. I'll find the exact moment, actually. Hang on. Okay, it's about to come. So it's when I say who knows, the drums go half time. Here. And Dean got so fucking excited. It was one of my favorite moments when I was like, can we do this? Oh, God. Yeah. What a pleasure. Can I just say, Dean, what a pleasure working with you, especially on this song. People don't have to like it, but calling it boring is weird. They'd be wrong. Well, this specific person is not my friend for a reason. It's not because they said they didn't like my music. I literally couldn't give a shit. It's because they're a pretentious asshole and they're not very nice overall anyway. So basically it's the kind of friendship that made me miserable. And then I hit a point and I was like, why do I bother? Do you know what I mean? Because anything I would have done in my personal life, in my career, was going to be criticized by this person. So I just had no time for it anymore after a while. But anyways, can we talk about how I had to push you to land that last vocal? Yes. So one of Dean's brilliant ideas for this song. So originally in my demo, you know how at the end I repeat the line, I think I'm losing my mind, I think I'm losing my mind. That was not in my original idea, and this is something Dean presented me with. And I was like, yeah, that's fucking great. He was like, let's make it a little bit cinematic at the end, like repeat that phrase. But, you know, we did all the instrumentation for that. And right at the end, when it came to recording my vocals, he was like, can you like, because, you know, I sing it in the low range, like, I think I'm losing my mind. He was like, can you scream it an octave higher? And I was like, nah. Like, I actually have a video of that, and I will share that very soon, so you'll see it on my social media at some point soon. But I was like, I think I'm losing my mind. No way I can hit that note in full chest voice. Like, that's not within my range. I was like, ain't no way. That's not gonna fucking happen. I can't do it. And then he was like, look, it's the end of the day. If your voice cracks, whatever. Let's try it though. And we did. And I landed it, and I did it again. Because I was like, I can do better. And then he was like, I fucking told you. Like, Dean got angry because he was like, I fucking told you. You didn't listen to me. You were like, I can't fucking do this. And I'm so glad you pushed me. I'm so glad you pushed me. I don't think I can do it live. Honestly, I don't know what I'm gonna do when it comes to playing this song live. But I'm glad you pushed me. I think I'm losing my mind. I'd be remiss if I didn't make us own that line, bruh. Totally, dude. Totally. What a cool moment. What a cool moment. It's definitely a line to scream. Totally. What a cool idea. But yeah. I always knew that you could do it, you little shit. This is exactly what you told me in the studio. Last song of the performance all the time. I mean, I feel like, guys, if I'm playing a live show with the band soon, next year, this has to be the encore. No question there, right? I think I'm losing my mind. It's like how Phoebe Bridgers screams at the end of I Know the End. She probably breaks her voice when she does that. Yeah, any other questions about Out of the Woods? Guys, I want to say as well, this is my oldest song ever. So Doobie Does mentioned my first EP. I know a lot of you guys weren't around for my first EP, but this is... I'm cringing at the idea of it. You have no idea. But this is a song I released in 2016 on my first EP, which was more of like a demo project. I mean, this was the first time I even tried to like record music properly. Do you know? Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But this was one of the songs that was on there. So I rewrote a lot of the lyrics because a lot of the original lyrics like didn't even make any grammatical sense because my English wasn't very good. But the choruses stayed the same. The bridge stayed the same. So it was mostly the verses. And obviously it's evolved massively sort of since then. So I do like the idea that some people are around and remember that first EP and can say, oh my God, the evolution is like massive. When did you write it actually? 2016 I wrote it. So it's the oldest song on the record, but I rewrote some of it with my friend Melanie Baker. I want to say in 2020. I mean, I had already started like demoing the song at this point for the album, and I'd been playing it live with the band as well. But when it came to actually recording it, I was like, okay, I need to rework some of those lyrics. You're cooler than how you'd win in a fight. What, with Phoebe Bridgers? It's not that bad. Not extremely good, but not extremely bad either. Well, I like to think of it as, you know, it just shows you how far I've come. I'll take it as that. I don't want it on the internet anymore. But, you know, for a first time around trying to record music, I don't think it's that bad. Right, we have one more song, guys. And it's called Bristol. which I've played on stream before and talked about extensively, more specifically the seagulls in the song. But more on that after the song. Any questions again? One last time I'll say it. Any questions? Drop them here. Those little fuckers, yeah.
Wanted to live by the sea. Seagulls awaken me in the morning. Smell of fresh coffee, something out of the Wes Anderson movie. So I decided to go. After 3 years of London making me feel small. Sounds cliche, I know. Turns out I have a taste for the unknown. Found it again. Peace with myself. I'm done playing pretend. I think I'm on the mend at last. At last. Settled for an in-between. Met you by the canal. Oh, I fell into the arms of the unexpected. Never minded his fingers down my spine. I love hearing people laughing on Baldwin Street, and the sea might be quite a few miles west, but I still wake up to seagulls at sunrise. I found it again. Peace with myself. I'm done playing pretend. I think I'm on the mend at last. At last, it's all turned out alright.
And that's it on the album, guys. Man. What you guys talking? You absolutely cracked me up. Look at all those penguins. And Amel, I found peace. Seagulls, psych. So this was Bristol, which is very different to the rest of the album. It is the last song I wrote for the album. And it wasn't planned originally. And then I was like, I want to finish on a good note. This album's too fucking sad and broken. And I was feeling at a much better place in my life. And I still feel at a much better place in my life, by the way. Obviously, nothing's perfect. This is an album. Remember, I can pretend everything's perfect, but it's not. But all this to say, I am at a much healthier place, and I just wanted the album to represent that too, to show that despite all the hurdles that I went through, I also did find myself at peace a little bit better. So there is that, and that's why this is the last song on the record. Now, when I wrote it, I had moved to Bristol not that long before, and I was still enjoying the sound of the seagulls. This is before I found out there were little fuckers that liked to steal my food. So this is where the joke has come from. I hear those seagulls, and the first thing I think is Melrose is, I hope that Mel and Fabian don't catch me drinking cheap coffee in the city centre again this morning. Well, Dean, I'm a twat because I'm a coffee nerd. Fabian's a coffee nerd. We're terrible people. We're really annoying people that like to judge other people's coffee. And so I apologize for making you feel that way. It's just we were like, this is the good coffee shop. This is another good coffee shop. This is another good coffee shop. And you just went to the shittest coffee shop in all of Bristol for whatever reason. And that's why we were a little bit mean. Sorry. I have fears of baristas following me around because of those seagulls. Imagining a pregnant Mel finding me standing over me. Why are you drinking this shit, dude? I was like, I'm leaving my house, walking somewhere, and what do I see? Dean drinking crap coffee. It hurt my soul. It hurt my soul. Anyway, such a peaceful note to end on, which is exactly what I was trying to do. So I'm glad you've noticed that. Not about the song, but whole album. Any plans for more song videos? I can't be the only one thinking, what would the video look like? Doug Who, you have no idea just how much I would love to. I would love to have done one for Parachute. There's other songs that I would love to do music videos for. Maybe in the future. But unfortunately, music videos cost a hell of a lot, and I'm not really working much right now because baby and stuff. So my bank account is not the best. But I'd love to, honestly. If I could film one tomorrow, I absolutely would. It's just they're quite expensive. But I will have other surprises to share with you at some point, hopefully. Maybe a couple lyric videos, I'm hoping. But like I said, I really want to. But it's so expensive. But yeah. As a Texan from the South, I like cheap diner coffee. Fair enough. I'm so proud of you. Thank you, Dean. And what a pleasure to work on this record with you. Thank you so much. Kolinsky, thank you so much. Oh. 37. I mean, I'm going to milk this album for a while because I feel like in a world where fast consumerism is like encouraged, I don't want to like gloss over this album release. It took me 3 years to get it done. I'm not going to just like put it out, talk about it for a couple of days and move on. But now that it's out there and I'm not so stressed about the release strategy and everything that comes along with what it takes to release music and like the logistics of it, especially as an independent artist, I'm slowly going to start demoing and writing some more. I haven't had any time to do that in the last sort of year. And I need to take that time to sit with some new music, write some new music, record some new music in terms of like demo form. And from then, I guess we'll just see what comes together. I mean, it'll probably be an EP next because an album is a lot of work and a lot of money. But I don't know, guys. I mean, my priority right now is milk this album because I'm so proud of it. I'm going to keep promoting it. Hopefully have it reach some new ears. I'm gonna have a few surprises coming to you in the next couple of months. I'm gonna have some little things to share about the album, so you'll get lots of that. And the next year, my main focus is I want to get back on stage with the band, which is a whole different thing in itself. I want to play some shows around the UK, get some support slots, maybe some headline slots, festival slots. We'll see what happens. And while all of that is happening, I'm going to start writing more music, demoing some more music that I have written since the album. There's quite a few songs that I have written since starting the album that haven't made it to the album, but that I'd still like to release at some point in the future. So, yeah, at the moment, my main focus is sort of keep talking about this record and get a live show ready, because I really want to play this album live. I want to play some festivals. I want to play some... Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Hang on, let me see. What have I missed? Let's savor it. Exactly. I'm buying a house in Nashville. Take Fabian in the croissant. And come to me. Let's make the next one. See you in April. You've decided. There you go. You've decided in April we're coming to Nashville. Do you know what? I would fucking love to. I would love to come to Nashville. It's actually the one city in the States that I've always wanted to see the most. I didn't know you'd bought a house. Tell me about it privately at some point. But yeah, Dean, what a pleasure working with you on this. Also, I can't believe you dealt with me being pregnant through this, which was a challenge in itself. And so props to you for that. But yeah. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Dean will do the next one for free, he said. 37 people said because he'd pay for it. It would be my pleasure, 37. But yeah, I'm gonna write some songs. I'm gonna demo some songs. Let's see what happens, you know? There's no rush on my end. I'm just happy to because the last few months have been, whenever I've had time away from motherhood as well, everything has been about, I need to sort out merch. I need to finish the design for this merch item, or, I need to send these masters off to this company. PPL, PRS bullshit, royalties bullshit. It's just been all admin, and I've not had a chance to sit down and actually make music. And I need to do that for my sake as well right now. Yeah, I don't know why that's happening. Do you know what? 2 years of streaming, guys, on and off. And I still haven't figured out fucking Nightbot or anything else by the looks of it. Oh my God. Okay, guys. Should we raid someone? Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. It's been such a pleasure. Also, if you'd like to grab a physical copy of the album, this is the one way us musicians get paid. Obviously, there is no pressure. I understand finances and stuff like that. There's no pressure whatsoever. But if you guys would like to get a physical copy of the album or some merch, this is literally the one way that us musicians get paid these days, which is, not a lot compared to how much we do spend on making the music. And I will just say as well, I am so thankful for some of you guys helping make this record possible through your donations on Twitch or Kickstarter a few years ago now. Obviously, I still had to grab a lot of money from my own arse. There's a lot of expenses related to it, and it's not just making the music, it's the marketing and the merchandise and everything else and whatever. All this to say, if you haven't grabbed a copy yet, I'm going to go on a little post office run tomorrow. So it's up on my Bandcamp. To those who already have done that, thank you so much. It means a hell of a lot. I honestly can't express my gratitude enough, especially as an independent artist. I'm doing all of this by myself, basically. It's a hell of a lot of work, but it's people like you here that make this all worth it, and I need to remind myself that more when I feel like giving up and breaking down, which happens more regularly than I'd like to admit. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Okay, who should we go see? Hello? Hello? Okay. Sorry, I had a bit of a freak out. I thought I was hearing ghosts, but it's Fabian. How about Carrie Ann? Let's go see Carrie Ann, guys. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. The album's available everywhere you would expect. Oh, thank you guys. And I don't know what to say. Let's just go see Carrie Ann. Thank you guys so much again. All right. Wait, do we have the raid commands? Yes.